What's going on, guys? Welcome to episode 258 of the JLS Gaming Show. I'm your host, Will AKay LaSalle, and we got a special guest in the house, Mr. Mensa X, right?
Nope.
And I probably look new to you guys too, because I shaved the mustache, man. I got to do that like once a year, kind of shave the mustache and stuff like that, just to have it kind of grow back, because it just gets on my nerves, man. And a lot of times, the mustache, Mensa, right? It grows, and then I don't know why. Maybe it's the way my lip is or whatever like that. So I end up just as part of normal breathing. I'm not a mouth breather. Today I'm mouth breathing because I'm getting over a cold, right? So I'm a mouth breather. So if you guys hear me sounding like Big Pun on the mic, forgive me. But I end up breathing, and in the normal process of breathing, I don't have like lots of nose hair like freaking Al Bundy or something like that, right? But I'll breathe in the nose hair. So what happens is I end up, my nose starts itching, right? And my wife knows, the beautiful Liliana LaSalle knows, whenever she gets close to me, it just, stuff really irritates my nose very easily. So I end up start doing like this. And hey, Kasara, and it ends up looking like I'm a cokehead, man. It ends up looking like I'm a cokehead, like I'm thinking like I'm Leonardo DiCaprio during the Super Bowl when they caught him. And he's sitting there like, so I'm always doing that stuff. So I told my wife, I said, it's a 3-day weekend. I forgot about the show. So I said, it's a 3-day weekend. So what I'm going to do is I'll shave, because you know how it is. When you get older and you shave, you get that 5 o'clock shadow, you get the hair growth comes back. So I'm like, I got nothing to do. Totally forgot about the show. We missed last week. I was feeling under the weather. And, you got to show me that too with the bot stuff and everything like that, because I'm like, what the heck is that, dude?
Oh,
I saw that on your other stream. Yeah, somebody was telling, it was saying, congratulations, you leveled up, and I'm like, well, how the hell did Mensa put a bot in? I gotta figure that out. So I'm always figuring stuff out, man. Liliana, the beautiful Liliana LaSalle, she probably hears me downstairs. She figures stuff out and everything like that. So this episode is sponsored by GG Retro Box. We actually got the new boxes in that are going out in March. It's a short month, right? But we got the new boxes in. Geez, I wanted to kind of show the boxes, but hopefully maybe if the beautiful Liliana LaSalle is out there or whatever like that, we'll show you the new boxes that are going out on the first week of March. Shout out to Graven, shout out to Willow and Liliana LaSalle for getting that stuff ready. GG Retro Box. So again, GG Welcome 15 gets you 15% off your first box and all that good stuff. You've probably seen the ad. A lot of people have seen the ad that was in the print version and digital of Old School Gamer. So shout out to Old School Gamer magazine. I was letting Glenn know, trying to say, so GG Retro Box is a sponsor, and this year, GG Retro Box will be doing a lot of sponsorships. We'll have a presence. Don't know if myself and the beautiful Liliana LaSalle will be at Midwest Gaming Classic, but we will have a presence there. I am solidifying that this week. So hopefully, it's today's Sunday. So hopefully this week. I should have last Wednesday, but again, being under the weather, kind of punted on a lot of things as best as I could. As always, Will at JLSGAMING.com. If you got any sponsorships, we got a great between GG Retrobox, we got a great collaboration coming up too. So besides seeing us in Old School Gamer, besides seeing us at Midwest Gaming Classic, potentially PRGE, Free Play Florida, you may see us working with a very cool, retro and modern, and bringing modern into the retro studio that's out there, right? So big stuff, and there's somebody that will eventually, shout out and plug to the Bash Gaming crew. I'm going to try to say Bill, Mensa, and the great team that's working on stuff there, because you'll probably see them bringing games to the Bash platform as well. But we're going to have another show where we dig deep into that, especially as we get closer to release and stuff like that. I've been a bad boy. I haven't pre-ordered mine just yet. It doesn't mean I'm not a buyer. I just haven't pre-ordered it yet, because as Mensa knows, and some of you know as well, I'm trying to figure out what the freak to do with the game room, man. So I got to move things around. I got to figure things out. And I may have bought things in pre-order that the use case would be invalid, or I need something else, and I'm running out of room. And luckily, my beautiful wife does real estate in Central Florida for all your needs, as you can see, right? So, may need to buy a bigger house, man, to fit more toys. But the odd man out has been my arcade one-ups, right? With the exception, and Mensa, right? You can chime in too, man. The only one I'm absolutely keeping, the only arcade one-up stuff I'm absolutely keeping, and this is not jumping on the bandwagon of every other content creator saying they're changing content. It's just, I'm kind of, fed up with certain things that Arcade One Up does. I'm keeping my Marvel Superheroes, the limited edition one, because it comes already unmodded, right? Comes with the Sanwa buttons and joystick, right? It's also the limited edition. I wish I would. Hindsight, I probably wish I would have never taken it out the box. The box was beautiful with the Iron Man, the Iron Man box. Yeah, man, it was beautiful, dude. But I still got the limited certificate of authenticity, et cetera, et cetera. That one I'm going to keep because, Marvel Superheroes, that and Marvel. I'm just a big MCU fan. Heard some great news today, Mensa. We could probably talk about that a little later too, as far as great news, but shocking, right? Where they're trying to release, and time flies, dude. It's going to be March in like 12 days, 11, 12 days. Their rumors saying July. So maybe that date that they're talking about for Fantastic Four next year will have to get pushed back because Sony's really pushing, and it ties into some of the stuff we're talking about. Sony's really pushing for Spider-Man, four to come out next summer. Sony needs that money, guys. Sony needs that Spider-Man money, man. So that Spider-Man money is.
But I'm here for it. I'm here for more.
I'm here for it too. I'm here for it. Have you heard anything as far as the third chapter, right, into the Miles Morales Spider-Verse, the cartoon, right? Have you heard if that's still on track for this year? Nothing, right?
I don't know if it's still on track or not. As far as I know, it's still on track because I haven't heard anything to tell me otherwise. I'm still going with my theory. Either there's going to be a third or fourth, but I have no doubt they're going to canonize the animation into a live action. It's got to. And they've already hinted at that, without spoiling,
Beautiful Liliana LaSalle, she said you can definitely go with a peace sign. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I don't know if I'm in the doghouse or if she just gave me a hall pass or something. I don't know, but wowzers, that's kind of
that's something you got to ask 7 times and put down in like a crypto and decipher, so you good.
So we got a special guest with us. So besides me, I'm playing that Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Mensa, what you been playing lately?
Ooh, I've been all over the place lately. And real quick, I have a hard issue now beating games, and because games just lose my attention span a lot nowadays. Yeah. But the one few games that I've actually started completing is the Yakuza series.
Nice.
So I went ahead and got the Infinite Wealth one. Been playing on that. I've been playing Assassin's Creed Black Flag, and I've been playing that broken mess they call the Suicide Squad.
Man, dude.
But
how is it?
But check this out. For that Suicide Squad, it ain't. If you just go in there with an open mind, right? Don't try to do this whole Arkham crap or whatever. Just play the game as a game, and if you're capable of not being biased, it's a good game, and it's a good story. And I think for me personally, when I hear a lot of the complaints, I'm not talking about the technical stuff. Maybe it's legit or not, but at least the story, it's kind of like, tell me you didn't play the game without telling me, because overall it's actually pretty cool. That's just my opinion. I'm one of those guys because I don't have a reason to hate on something just to hate on it, But
I wanted to get it right. I want it, and then when all the pre-reviews and people talking about it, that's when I'm like,
see, that's the bias part.
Yeah.
My boy Bill, he said he beat it, likes it. Bill McGoffin likes it. Daniel from Bass Crew, he likes it. Me and him were playing together. It has lost a lot of player base apparently. I don't,
Damn, already?
but it's a loot grinder. That's all it is. Think of Crackdown. You remember Crackdown on the Xbox?
Mm-hmm.
It's a theme for me. It's like a theme Crackdown. Just if you like Crackdown, you're gonna like Justice Squad.
Yeah,
that's in story. Like if you like the cheesy way Crackdown play, which I did, you'll like the Justice League or no, the Suicide Squad game.
And that's the thing, man. It just gave me vibes of like
it's
Avengers,
gonna get repetitive, bro. But it's good.
Yeah, Toxin says, does it get repetitive after a while?
The story is good. It plays. It's quality, and then it has an end game. Where it goes from there, I don't know.
Me with my limited time, man, and I'm not saying that just to like, oh, I got no time. I still got a game. You know what I'm trying to say? I still got a game, and I still buy the stuff, and I still, as I'm working, I sit there and I'm like the Wolverine meme, right? Looking at the pictures and everything like that. I got to sit there and look at my games that in my back catalog. I'm looking forward to Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. That's my favorite game series of all time, and I know that's going to take me probably 2-3 months. To really beat, because I'm only gonna play like maybe 5, 6, 7 hours a week.
And since when was that a bad thing where you buy a game that's complete, and it takes you almost a half a year to beat it, which it should, which is last for that price.
Yeah, them year-end reviews. Last year, my year-end review for Sony was for PlayStation was just Spider-Man 2.
Right.
That's it, man. And it took me maybe 27, 28 hours to beat it. 100%. I try to do those games and enjoy the slow, like my wife made what she could tell us what she made. I'm gonna butcher it. I'm not a chef, but she made that slow on the slow cooker, and that meat is just so tender and everything like that. I gotta slow cook them AAA titles, man. I can't be those guys that try to beat it if it's leaked or they get it a week before because they work at GameStop or their baby mothers.
Check out that Yakuza series, man. Check out the Like a Dragon and the new one, Infinite Wealth. It's an RPG with the Yakuza mechanics, but it's a turn-based, and it's great. And this new one, they're saying the developer said if you try to burn through it, you will be sick. It's bigger than all of them combined kind of games. It'll take you 60+ hours to get through the main story. And I think for like full completion, you're looking at 150 to 200 hours, just for full completion. What? So you're going to get your money's worth with these games. Also, what's cool about that Yakuza game is that Sega put in the full-blown, I think it's rare for the States, arcade version of Daytona 2. It's in the game.
Dude, that reminds me of what was it that had Spy Hunter in it? Like it had an arcade machine and it had Spy Hunter in it. And I know when you were talking with on either on his show or he was on Off the Cuff with Zod, and Zod was talking about that virtual reality. That virtual reality. Dude, so I checked it out, right? And here's the thing, man. And me and you, we're turning this into like an Off the Cuff spinoff right now, right? We got this queued up video. Wow. I was like, that I saw it after hearing him talk about it. I was like, all right. So I checked it out. I got it downloaded on my computer and everything like that. And I know you were talking about and you were sharing with us, you know what I'm saying, with the Oculus. So, bro, I was ready to buy an Oculus just for that experience. And here's the thing, Mensa, right? Behind me, virtual image, right? But downstairs, because I'm in our studio upstairs, which will soon, soon we'll revamp things, right? We got a back catalog. We got to redo this office, get rid of the green screen, the green wall paint. We're going to redo this. It's going to be a nice backdrop. The beautiful Liliana LaSalle for the content she needs to create in her real estate space, right? We're going to really redo for that. And then I'll move the show to where it should be. So I can kind of where we do sometimes certain streams out of the game room downstairs, right? I just don't really have space. I have to set up a temporary space. Like I know most content creators really do this, right? In their game rooms and stuff like that. They'll set up a crate or whatever the hell to put the laptop, put the AV equipment on. So I got to get that set up and figure it out. But I'm like, I'm going to play in a virtual environment and I got real arcade cast. So I'm like, you know what? But I was thinking of getting the Vision Pro, except you see all these, I'll call them lanes, man. You see all these lanes. Like there's this one video, this guy, he's getting out of a Cybertruck. So now it's a Tesla Cybertruck. And you know, we got 2 Teslas in the house, right? We've had Teslas for years and everything like that. I got Tesla Solar. We've done the videos on the channel that have gotten a bunch of views, right? But he gets out and he's got the Apple Vision, right? And he gets out and he's like, you know, just doing all that stuff, like closing windows. And I'm like, dude, the Apple Vision, it's and here's a tidbit for everybody out there, because you know we talk about things from a business perspective, right? And if you guys, we've given people advice in the past. So for someone like me, you know, we've had our businesses for the longest time. It's something where I can write it off, right? I can write it off as a business expense, especially if we're doing R&D, which stands for research and development, guys. We do have developers on staffs. We do have development licenses, and we are on the we do have the SDKs, and we do have the agreements in place with Apple, with Android, with Microsoft. So from our perspective, it can be a tool that we're doing actual development on, so we can do a business write-off on it. I just don't want, but I don't want to go outside and look like a lame like those guys. But some of the stuff that it does is cool. I wish they would kind of port that to port that thing that Zod was showing and you guys were talking about. I forgot what it's called. I do have it downloaded, but because that to me is amazing, bro. So I don't know if you checked it out, but I know Zod was saying it was so cool. I checked it out and everything. You can't play it on your computer, but you especially that I know you got the Meta Quest, Oculus Rift or whatever. Whatever the hell they call it, right? Oculus Rift, Meta Quest,
all the above, because they're
all of them.
Oculus was bought by Facebook.
Yeah, and then they changed their name to Meta, right?
Meta, but they are different virtual reality devices. One's what they call tethered to the PC. The PC has all the processing power to do more than your standard Quest, because your Quest has more with the apps, right?
Yeah.
And so you play off of that. So there's higher tiered tailored games for the PC that can be streamed or tethered to your device to have better things running. Example, Google Quest Earth VR is only available for the PC. Yeah. And it's creepy as heck because you can Superman fly through the world, check your neighbor's backyard out. I'm like, man, I didn't know they had a pool. Yeah, and then you can go off into space, which is creepy. And yeah, it's good stuff, man.
Yeah, I'm really tempted. It's just like the beautiful Liliana said, she won't go anywhere with me wearing it. She suffered with me, I think it was like 11 or 12 years ago. I was one of the what they call they were called Glass Explorers, Google Glass.
Yes.
But so it was that. But okay, we are
700.
That's, I thought it was 500.
I thought, well, you know what? I think with all the taxes and the accessories, I know it
and also they have bigger hard drive ones, right?
Maybe they got the bigger hard drive size. I think I went with the smaller one, and then I got the accessories because you don't really need all that size.
I was tempted to get one, dude. I was tempted. TikTok has had a lot of like crazy deals. And I saw one like they're dirt cheap, but I didn't know if we were gonna get if it was a ripoff or anything like that. But TikTok does have a good, they got a good return policy. I got to check in with some of the R&T folk. You know, shout out to the R&T folk. I got to check in with some of them because I know they were going to take advantage of some TikTok deals, and they were like, "Hey, the return policy and the fraud policy is good enough that if it comes back and it's a fraud or something like that, they'll just get it back." So I got to see. I think they were trying to buy a PS5 or Xbox Series X for like 200 that a seller there had it for. And yeah, there's a lot of like incentives and stuff like that. I know people are turned off by TikTok, but it is a place that we are going to launch our shop there. You know, we've been with two previous people over the past couple of years, but we're working on some stuff to bring those so people that have enjoyed the beautiful Liliana LaSalle and myself, you know, selling games, doing giveaways and promos and contests like that. We're going to move that stuff to TikTok eventually. I'm trying to figure it out, man. You know what I'm trying to say? But I'm a Mac person. I think you are too, Mensa. I know you got PCs as well, but I just got Macs all over the place. And they made the application to go live because I do want to take this show to multi-stream it even onto TikTok as well, and keep it above 25 minutes, 25 to 30 minutes or more there. But it's Windows only. So I'm like, and I run Windows. Don't get me wrong, I run Windows, but I run Windows. People that out there that know me and previous viewers of the show, I run it in virtual desktops, either in the cloud, which is going to tie into what we're going to finally discuss when we see this Microsoft stuff, in the cloud, or even a virtual machine, right? But with the virtual machine, it ends up being a little tough because Mac has moved to their M chips, and their M chips are based on ARM, right? And so you have to get, now again, I have access to it because I'm a developer, I'm an insider, I've been beta testing software, I'm aging myself here, for over 24, 25 years, especially with Microsoft, you know, so I have access to all that stuff. You have to get a certain version of Windows that can run on ARM processors, right? And usually that's served for OEMs, which is original equipment manufacturers. For those guys out there, I'm not trying to, you know, flex my knowledge. But what we wanted to talk about, a couple of things, right? We wanted to talk about Microsoft going cross-platform, and why I invited Mensa is because I love how Mensa does, where he does his live reactions, right, to videos and do it out there. And me and my wife, we love watching Love is Blind. So this morning we were watching live reactions to, we were watching these guys that we watching the live, that they're watching it live, and they give their commentary. And my wife, when we're watching it, she takes my commentary. She goes, "You're brutal, babe. You're brutal." And I'm like, these guys are more brutal than me, man. Because there was this one chick on there. She told the dude, "Oh, what's the celebrity lookalike you look like?" She told the dude, she looks like Megan Fox. You know what I'm trying to say? And my wife is like, "Damn, she looks like the Temu." You know what I'm saying? Or Wish version of Megan Fox. So we're watching these guys live, and they're way more brutal than we were when we're just sitting there watching it, you know, together, trying to binge watch it. 6 fucking episodes, like an hour each. Pardon my language. So what we wanted to do is, and I said, I thought about that this morning, and I said, yo, I'm just going to ask Mensa if he wants to come on and we live reaction, because we were going to do this. And the reason this came to be by Microsoft themselves under the Xbox brand to do this 22-minute that they did video stream the other day was because so many people are misinformed about the situation. Now, me and Mensa are going to watch this live, like not live, it was on Thursday, but you're going to see our live reactions, and we're going to commentate, pause it along the way on what we see as far as, but this is why Xbox is doing it. You know, this channel has always been, I've been all about talking about video games from a business perspective and trying to break it down for people on why these companies are doing what they do. We're investors in Microsoft, so we know when they did their acquisition of Activision, right, what it was for, what they were trying to do, what their intentions are with Call of Duty. And if people seen, you know, and Sony was suing them, if people seen what we said and people were scared that, oh, that means they're going to make Call of Duty exclusive. And I was telling people for the longest, that's not anywhere they said. If you look at their investor meetings, which nobody's going to watch because it's all boring and they're talking in millions and billions of dollars, you know what I'm saying? And even us as little investors, you know, we're looking at it and, oh, great. Somebody told me I'm not going to buy the Apple Vision, or I'm not going to buy a Tesla. I'd rather buy Tesla stock, or I'd rather buy Apple stock than spend so much on that device. Let the suckers spend that money on that device, and my stock is going to go up while that stuff is depreciating assets, right? So I said that's not the strategy. The strategy is going to be cloud, which we said earlier, right? Yeah. So they keep changing the name, whatever it's called now, Microsoft Game Pass, Xbox Game Pass, whatever they call it now, right? Game Pass Ultimate. Microsoft's always changing freaking names on every product for like 30 something years, right?
Yes.
So Microsoft, whatever they're naming it and rebranding it into, it's cloud gaming, number one, first and foremost, right? And then cross-platform. So to stop stealing the thunder, I'll start playing this and we can chat about this and see what they divulge to people, but why it makes sense for them to go cross-platform and cloud. and what that means in the future. So let's see what they have to say.
Hello and welcome to the official Xbox podcast. I'm your host, Tina Amini, and we have a very special episode today, as you can probably tell by the fact that I'm joined by Phil, Sarah, and Matt. Welcome. And we're going to talk about some updates at Xbox. We want to talk about game exclusivity. We want to talk about Activision Blizzard,
That's
now that they're
Phil,
part of
right?
our
That's the
portfolio,
guy that's
how that might be an impact on Game
was
Pass.
Major Nelson,
And we want to talk about
right?
hardware too, and how all of this fits into the strategy.
I don't think so.
Where should
You
we
know, it's
start,
been a
Phil?
long time since I've seen these guys.
When we originally had planned for the show,
Phil Spencer,
starting
and I
back in
think the
December,
Major Nelson guy, I think he left.
I think we probably would have started with
really?
Activision,
I think
Blizzard.
So.
Maybe
talk
a little bit about the exclusivity.
Like, I mean, like
coming
5 years
and
since I've seen anything about Xbox.
We've had some
unforeseen
news that has come out. So let's just go and tackle the exclusivity question, because I know it's on the minds of a lot of people.
And I don't think
from the community, and that's an important input.
Damn, he's going right into.
So we made the decision that we're going to take 4 games to the other consoles, just 4 games, not a change to our kind of fundamental.
But see, this was their problem when they were competing with the PlayStation.
We're making these decisions for some specific reasons. We make every decision really with the long-term health of Xbox in mind. And long-term health of Xbox means a growing platform, our games performing,
that there were
building
some
the
leaks,
best platform for
right?
creators.
So there were some leaks
reaching as
around
many
this news that they were doing.
We're always looking to learn.
They're going cross-platform. So I want to know what the 4 titles are. But again, it makes sense, right? And then part of it is, remember, Sony was fighting them,
grow our franchises.
Other people in the UK, especially
these 4 titles,
for regulations.
What are they? Can you say?
Meaning,
I'm not going to name
non-competition
those games.
Okay,
the teams that are building those games have announced plans that are not too far away. As we know, teams put a lot of energy into their announcements.
It won't be their exclusives, though.
I don't want to take anything away from those teams. So I won't be talking about the titles specifically, but I think when they come out.
Well, some people have been speculating Halo.
Can we say either of those titles are Starfield or Indiana Jones?
They are not Starfield or Indiana Jones.
Well, what was the criteria in how the team was thinking about selecting those 4 titles?
Let me start a little bit outside of that, and then I'll get to the 4 specific games that we're talking about right now.
Wait a minute. Is he going to name them?
Fundamental decision driver for any decision
sounds like Rick James now.
Anything we're going to talk about today is the long-term health of Xbox. That we're running a growing platform that is reaching more players.
And all these people that were scared that
Microsoft
is
having as much
Xbox is dying, that Sony won.
I do have a fundamental belief.
That's never been Microsoft's strategy, man. You know,
I don't see how Sony won if they got Activision. Activision is the winning.
Are going to be a smaller and smaller.
And remember, there was also news that Sony is not going to release a AAA title at all this year. And not just this year, like 2024.
Whether it's one console and
calendar
PC,
year that hasn't
consoles, mobile console and
fiscal
PC
year for them.
You see big
hasn't
games
started till April 1st.
Multiple platforms.
You know what that's telling me?
We want to be
March 31st next year
for creators that are trying to realize
title by Sony.
But now back to the specifics.
What they're telling me is that PlayStation 6 is on the horizon. Very,
we looked at games that are over a year old.
Because why waste your
time? They've been on Xbox.
They're just going to make it for the next gen.
A couple of the games are community-driven games, new games that kind of first iterations of a franchise that have reached their full potential. Let's say on Xbox and PC. There's always growth.
A big
franchises that we obviously want to continue to invest in
the battle.
Part of having the ability to continue to invest is that
can upgrade so often,
franchises continue.
And then
I think it's important that these service-based games that have communities behind them, that they can have confidence that they're going to exist.
And that cycle has
to come. So 2 of them
now.
Kind of community-driven games that will end up on other platforms and give us
it already compared to gamer.
We think that's great.
Look at the original Xbox before the 360 dropped. That was only out for how long?
I'd say 2 of the other games are smaller games.
5 years or so.
That
as soon as I bought
were never really meant to be built
as
platform exclusives and all the fanfare that goes around that. But games that our teams really wanted to build,
right? Because
that we love supporting
Sony is notorious for paying. We just talked about Final Fantasy VII. Exclusivity,
and as they've realized their full potential on Xbox and PC, we see an opportunity to utilize the other platform
one of their studios
as a place to just
AAA titles.
Drive more business value out of those games, allowing us to invest in maybe future iterations of those, so sequels to those, or just other games like
still
that in our
going
portfolio.
on, I think.
And when we don't damage
and we
can grow our business using what other platforms have to help us
coming out, but
we're going to do.
I think that was,
and that's really the story behind these 4 games. And last thing I'll say, looking forward,
I think I'm pausing it real quick. I think if I'm not mistaken, because we talked about this during the leak, right? And we try to be careful. And I know, Mensa, we talked about it offline as well, because you wanted to be real careful with that, because if you did talk about it as lawsuits are going out there trying to stop the noise, right? And there's an active investigation around that. But if I'm not mistaken, so I didn't download. You can actually, they leaked the damn demo for that, Toxin. They leaked like not a demo, a build, an alpha build for that. So certain people that have hacked PS5 can play it, right? You have to have
someone's going to jail.
Oh yeah, that one's gonna be, because them guys were definitely doing that ransom. But that game, I think it was targeted for 2026. They leaked the information that they're gonna have like a mid, like how Spider-Man did Spider-Man, Insomniac did Spider-Man, then Miles Morales, kind of like a separate add-on, like a mini full game, right? Because I think it took me like 8 hours to beat the Miles Morales thing, right? And then Spider-Man 2. I think what they're gonna do is they're supposedly between Spider-Man 2 and Spider-Man 3, there's gonna be a Venom. That's what was released at it, that it was gonna kind of follow that mold of the Miles Morales. And then in Spider-Man, and I think they said, what the hell was it called?
The Spider-Man game is supposed to be the equivalent of the Sony versus MCU. It's supposed to have its own big universe going on that's going to evolve around the Spider-Verse in the game for the games. So
and that would have been the 3. It would have had, like, you could alternate between, actually 4. It was supposed to be one of the female Spider-Mans from the Spider-Verse to add to you. That was part of the leak. I forgot which one they mentioned. Venom, Miles Morales, and Peter Parker Spider-Man. So you could choose out of those 4. So Spider-Man 3. So all this stuff, again, subject to change, because the roadmap, you're talking about 2 years from now, 3 years from now, and stuff like that. So
what's your volume at on the video?
Oh, well, I'm sorry. I just saw
click
that.
on your volume, if I can see it real quick. That's on the video on the YouTube.
Yeah.
Just one more notch. Yeah. Try that.
Down there. Yeah, and then I'll try it too on the stream here. Thank you for letting us know that. Beautiful Liliana. Okay, let's see that. Let's try playing it now and continuing.
I think there is
good.
An interesting story for us of introducing Xbox franchises to players.
Is that better,
on
folks?
Other platforms to get them more interested in Xbox. We think there's a good brand value for Xbox there. So 4 games, no promise beyond that. So if you're on those other platforms,
again, what 4
games coming, please don't take it.
They have to be 4 series, I would assume. I was saying Call of Duty is one of them.
So when you are thinking about the future and this,
but Call of Duty's already, I don't even think that's going to be mentioned, because why would they? Because it's kind of like, well, that's not what's exclusive to Xbox.
Yeah, there's really no fundamental change.
Probably what,
to
maybe
how think about Xbox.
What's exclusive
Halo?
to Xbox?
Halo, maybe?
Which was an awesome show.
Halo would be one, Bethesda would definitely be one.
Xbox
but
and PC and cloud,
Xbox,
which really makes them accessible to hundreds.
And they're talking about bringing it to Switch and bringing it to Sony, right? So not only bringing it to the cloud, right? One thing I wanted to show is, like, and I know a lot of people like this. This is. I know Amazon tried to get into it. This is the Amazon Luna. You had Google Stadia. Cloud gaming's where is it at, man?
Yeah.
All you need is the control. I can play Xbox Game Pass stuff on my
Anywhere.
TV now.
On my TV, your phone, anywhere.
I paired,
but the game that gets it right.
Go to the TV.
The game that gets it right is Warframe. They have it for the iOS now,
build on,
and it's multi-platform.
When you were talking about growth, it's just we've sort of seen this inversion over the last 5 years, where
Matt Booty, bro,
was the biggest thing.
Games
would sort of
now that's the name
within the platform.
Yes, sir.
Big games like a Roblox or a Fortnite.
That reminds me of all them days, man. When I was you just make up back when I was young. You're doing like The Simpsons or whatever like that.
I think we at first
you just making up the names.
This guy's got a random generator name.
That all of our games will be on the Xbox platform.
That's my AOL name, man. Now it's dating us. My AOL name was Buck Eat Naked 2000.
Available on Xbox. So there's sort of
man.
As Phil mentioned,
So
there
this
are
is
games
Matt
today
Booty,
you can
bro.
play only
Booty.
can be
Oh,
found on
Matt
Xbox.
Booty.
And at the same time, we want to bring more of our games to more players. So we're going to continue.
And that's from the business perspective. That's what makes sense, right?
Though, from some of
You bring it to more
thinking
players.
what does it really
I
mean
think
for the player?
Xbox
To me,
Series X and S so far has sold like 30 something million to date worldwide, right?
Those things allow
Sony
us to
has
deliver
doubled that
on the
with the
promise of
PlayStation 5,
Xbox,
right? Doubled
which
that
is play
easily.
with your
You know what I'm trying to say? I
friends
think they
wherever
sold
they are,
more
devices you want,
PS5s last year
So that is
than
really
in
only
total
possible at practical
Xbox
level
Xbox
when you
Series X
know
has
that
sold
your
since
saves
launch,
and your player are gonna
right?
be able to move
So
across
that
all
makes
those
sense. And
cards.
then to bring it
So
to
none of our
Nintendo
games
Switch
today
and the
are
subsequent
necessarily
Nintendo
built
Switch
to take
2,
advantage of
which
that.
has
There
like
still will be some
80,
games that
85 million
as we bring
established
more
base.
teams into the
It makes
Xbox
sense,
family,
right?
there's some
If these
But
guys
this
are in
may
it to
be
make
their smart.
software,
cross-play,
This may be their
cross-save
smart
is
bow out
so
for the
fundamental
future.
to what we're doing. And
Like,
I think it's
we're so
something that we as first party get
we're
such
going to
a
go
good
the Sega
benefit
route and
being so
still
close
be
to the
crushing it.
platform.
I mean, they own the
Absolutely.
PC
And
game.
that's one of the
They,
things, like you
they,
said,
they
all
ain't
of
gonna
our
lose. They're not
games are
losing. They're
always in
winning.
Game
I mean, it's
Pass. And so
Microsoft.
I'm
They're the
excited to announce,
primary
with the coming
operating
together
system on
that
a
we
computer.
have Activision Blizzard King, that Activision
dude,
and
they can
Blizzard
Period.
buy.
are coming to Game
That's what I've
Pass,
told people.
starting
They
with
literally
Diablo
can buy.
4
It would
on
be
March
tough because of a
28th.
culture
I'm
thing.
super,
They
super
can buy
excited to
Sony
share it
cash.
today.
Yeah.
And
They're
it's all
one
part
of
of
the
our
4 or
commitment
5
to make
two
Xbox,
trillion
the Xbox
plus
experience, and the
valuation
games that we
companies in the
build is
world.
widely
The
available
only
to
one
all
they would need to
households.
fear
So
is
now the
Apple.
34 million Game Pass
Yeah.
If
members
Apple
can
joins
all
the scene.
enjoy the fantastic experience.
Exactly, and that's a
Can
good
we come back to the
thing to
point,
bring up,
Phil, you
Mensa,
mentioned
because
at the top
that's
of this, is it
inevitable.
really a
And
change in
Amazon, I
strategy
believe,
for us? Can
runs
you recap for me
the
how
cloud
is it?
scene
Yeah.
because
And
they
I
own
thought
the servers.
both Matt
So
and Sarah did a
Netflix, I
really nice
believe,
job of
I
talking about what we're
might
doing
put
at
my
Xbox,
foot in my
where we're
mouth, but like
going.
Netflix runs
If
off the
you
Amazon
take a
stuff, and
platform feature
Yep.
like
No,
Xbox
you're right
Live,
there. Yep.
the
Netflix
chip
runs off
and
of Amazon.
promise
That's why
that
people
we've
used to be like,
made
"Oh,
with
Amazon
first-party
Prime versus
games that you
Netflix,"
can
and I
buy
say
our
Amazon
games
Prime
on
makes money off of
play across
Yeah.
Xbox
off
and
of
Windows.
Netflix, right? Because it's run on AWS
That
cloud
it's like the
infrastructure.
Unreal
for
Engine
you,
stuff.
not only
Like
to play
everything runs off
with your
Unreal
friends wherever they
Engine.
are, but to
These
know
guys
that
are
you
winning.
actually have
You're
multiple
using their stuff.
entitlements to the games. I think
Yep.
that's a technology I would love to see applied to more platforms. But it is this view that people are going to play Xbox in multiple places.
Yep.
Whether it's play the games you want with the people you want, anywhere
Yes,
you
Sony's
want,
valuation is
whether it's content
what's
creating
their current
cloud,
market
whether
cap?
See, this
it's
is
whatever
Nintendo's
place we
only
all win. Like, we've
competition.
had
It was
different
the
taglines,
tablet scene.
strategy, kind of
Yeah.
words that we've used, but always with this view.
Sony's valuation is
that
$113
Xbox
billion,
is a platform
right?
for creators who
And
want
let's
to
see,
reach the most
Microsoft's,
players.
like you said,
Our
number
investments in
one
xCloud, our
is
investments
probably
in the
is more than likely
franchises like
Apple,
Minecraft and now Call
but
of Duty and
Microsoft's
other
valuation is
franchises that
$3
we've
trillion. Oh
learned
my
how to
goodness!
build those.
So
This
their
has been a
market cap is
strategy
3
that's
trillion
been on
versus
for, I'd
so
say,
3
a
trillion
decade.
versus one
It's
100
not
and
about one
something
device.
What's
billion.
Apple
It's not
at?
about games in service
Apple's
of a
probably
device,
let's see.
Because they're doing
rather the
TV now. Apple
devices that
TV,
people
the
want to play
exclusive
on should be in
shows,
service
they're
of
in the
making
movie scene
games
now.
Wow.
big and popular as
Wow,
much as we can.
Apple's
Because
market cap
really,
right
a healthy
now is
creator community on
2.82
Xbox, a
trillion.
healthy
See?
So they're
creator
actually a
community
little
being
lesser than
pulled up
Microsoft.
is the thing.
Right?
All of us as game players,
It's
So,
interesting.
like you
go
said,
there.
Microsoft's not
Because
going
that's
nowhere,
the thing
man.
that
They
will
No.
own the
drive
market.
long-term
They own.
success and
They
growth.
can buy Sony if
And
they
my
wanted
understanding,
to.
just from
The thing is,
What's
kind of
Disney
learning
at
from
then?
you
I wonder.
three over the
oh,
past few
Disney.
weeks,
Well,
just
Elon,
understanding what's
yeah,
happening
Elon's
with
talking about
Xbox, is that
freaking.
we see
They're
trends
talking
with
about
player behavior
Elon might
where
buy Disney,
people are
man.
playing on multiple
I don't
devices.
know.
That is the reality.
I don't think
And
Disney
we
they
have
can.
put some
valuation.
games
I
out on
think
Not with
multiple platforms before. So
full
my opinion is
disclosure.
that
Oh,
that's been good for players. How does that come
204.7
back to the
billion.
business with all of
billion.
that?
Okay. Well, I guess he could.
Yeah, as you said, we have
Ooh, and
shipped
it's been
games
up.
on other
Oh
platforms.
man,
In
I
fact,
sold not too long ago.
realistically, if you look with the addition of Activision and
Oh,
Blizzard
All right, here we go.
and ZeniMax, we're one of the largest game publishers on PlayStation.
Oh, that's
We're one
right.
of
They
the
got
largest
freaking Blizzard,
publishers
man.
on the Nintendo
Jesus
Switch,
Christ.
especially when you put Minecraft into the equation as well. And now we're one of the largest
StarCraft,
publishers on mobile platforms as well.
Diablo,
And that's not
Warcraft.
something that
You're
we
talking
want to back
movies and
away from.
games
We
and
want to continue
comics.
to be building.
Listen,
great
they're gonna get
games
out of
that
physical
millions and
games.
millions
They're
of
gonna get
people
out of it.
play.
Everybody's gonna get out of
And
it.
then
We talked
Everyone's
about
going to get
that.
out of physical.
They
That's
Yeah.
why
play.
people keep crying about this
But
physical
we
stuff.
do
It's
understand the business success that Xbox.
Your time is up, guys.
Us as leaders
under a
in this
decade. I don't
business,
see this lasting more than a
the system
decade.
today,
No
the system
way.
that
Microsoft's
all
killing it.
companies that we blame
Microsoft's
from
killing it,
is
guys.
growing.
Like,
You gotta be
if y'all
growing
don't
your
understand
business.
that, you know, just
Xbox
get friendly with
business
Microsoft. Feel
for the
comfortable
long
with
term
Microsoft.
growth of Xbox.
The
Many people know
console
I've been on
wars
Xbox for
are
over 20
were
years,
fun,
and I want to
but
make sure Xbox
it's a
is in the best
Microsoft world,
position for
man,
the
and it's
next
going to be like that in terms of
That means
gaming.
healthy player
And just
community, healthy
fight
player
for
community,
cool
and
games,
healthy
right?
business.
Fight for these
So when we look
studios.
at
I mean,
be able
because
to
they're
put
gonna
out
still
cool
make the
games.
software. You're
More
still
people
gonna have your
engage, more
Sony
people buy,
games
more
and
people
whatever.
subscribe. It's all
But
about
we
putting
need
Xbox in the best
hardware.
position. And our hardware is a critical component of that. The absolute best
And
experience
gaming, the
somebody
gaming
has on
industry in
Xbox is
terms
hardware
of
that your team builds,
valuation and year over
that's
year
not gonna be
growth,
everybody.
you
It's
guys
fully
know, man.
accepted that we're gonna
Like
have
my
Xbox
dad,
players across all segments.
man, and
So I
God
think
bless
a lot
him.
of people
He
think about
turned
2023
75
as this
this year.
incredible year for
My
gaming,
dad's a
and in a
gamer.
lot of ways
He was
it
sending me
was. There were
pictures,
some
dude,
really amazing releases that I think we all
and he got
enjoyed.
me into
But
gaming,
what were
right?
the
He bought
signals
before
behind the
I was
scenes
even
that maybe
born.
indicated how you
Ataris,
wanted to look at the
ColecoVisions,
future
right,
of
and
Xbox
stuff
and
like
how to
that
kind
is
of
what
keep
he
up with
had.
the
My
industry?
first
Yeah,
console
such a
was
good
the
question. And I
NES,
think
right?
it's
But
as
he
people
was
who care
sending
about the
me
industry, which I assume is people who
pictures
are
that he
watching
got
this,
running on his old
it was an
computer,
amazing year.
old
Some
DOS
great
games from
launches, some of the
1991.
games that I think will stand
Right.
the test of time and people will be talking
Pac
about
Doom.
decades.
He was sending me a picture of Pac
But it's an
Doom. That's a
industry
game
that didn't really grow.
1991. That's something when I was,
And what
11,
happens when an
12 years
industry
old.
doesn't
But
grow?
Quake,
he was probably
World of Warcraft,
35 at the
yeah.
time. He was gaming.
We had even
So
our
Duke
own hard
Nukem,
decisions to make
yeah,
about
Duke
building
Nukem,
sustainable
Jazz the
business for ourselves,
Jackrabbit,
but in no way was we
Heretic,
alone in that.
or
Heretic.
OG
Oh
Quake,
man, Shadow Warrior,
I want
Team
players
Fortress
who
1,
believe
the
that they
mod,
find the best
the
games on
oh,
platforms
dude.
that they
the
love.
Doom. It was
I
a
want
Doom,
people who
or it
invest
was a
their
not Doom. It was a
careers
Quake
in
mod.
working here to feel like this is
Before
a place
Half-Life.
they can be successful.
Yeah.
And that really is down to
And
being
that
part of an
people used to
industry
play that
is
stuff
growing.
LAN parties
If you listen to
competitively.
Lisa
Yes.
Su, the
Competitively,
AMD
tournaments.
I did
CEO, she'll say
networking
that
out of school, and
AMD
that's how
powered
we LAN
consoles are
party.
likely to decline
Yeah, that's when you learn
in
IPX,
2024. I
what
think
is it,
there's an
IPS,
amazing set of
SPX, kind of
games
stuff
coming
like
in
that, token rings.
2024. But if we
Sometimes
don't
when you go
get
to these events,
growing
Free Play
as
Florida
an
is awesome.
industry,
They
the
always
industry
have
will struggle.
a table
And
set
today
up
there's really two
in a
choices
LAN
on how
party
you grow your
configuration with
That's
freaking
awesome.
So you
Doom.
say I have a fixed
And you
number
can
of
just
Those
sit
are the
down and
days.
start having a
players
LAN party and
do I
doing like
find
that.
new ways
That's
to
cool,
monetize
man.
those players to get more money
Oh,
from the players that I have?
And Microsoft's
Or
been
do you
great
think
with that
about
because
how do I
there
he's
are a
talking
lot
about
of these games.
monetization right now.
By finding new players.
What happened?
And
He's talking about
adding those to the
monetization.
base of players that already play. Our
Oh,
focus on Xbox for the last decade has really been on that latter point
Interesting.
of how do we make sure Xbox is growing for our players, growing for our creators. So those people are finding success on our platform, which will grow the Xbox business and put Xbox in a position to be very strong
He's looking
for
at
years and decades to come.
paying people.
Matt, earlier you were talking about these growing gaming communities, how they're
I think
incredibly
I
large.
think that
and,
ties
you
what
know,
they're trying to
comparable
describe is
on
tying
such a
into
different
the
level when we think
independent
about
developers,
console
right?
audiences.
Creating
Because
that
if you notice,
Xbox
if you
Fortnite.
play
So
PlayStation or
how
the
are we,
Xbox, they
we're
have their
obviously
own
thinking about
streaming
our
service built
responsibility, our
into it. So
hardware
while you play,
responsibility
you can
in
see
supporting
the stuff that they
growth of
recommend
gaming communities.
based on
How has that
if you're
actually
streaming
shown up for
directly from your
players? Are there
console
any
or
other
not.
games we can speak to from our
Mm-hmm.
portfolio?
Well,
Mm-hmm.
as Phil mentioned, I mean, two of the biggest ones
That
for
makes
us,
sense
Call
too.
of Duty and Minecraft.
That
I
makes
mean, they
sense
are
for an
driven
additional revenue
just
stream,
from the
right?
ground up by the
Does
communities of people
Microsoft
who play those games,
own
which
who
is
owns
so
Twitch
great. I
right
think
now?
think about it for the
Twitch is
player
Amazon.
community. It
Amazon.
comes
Okay,
down
they got
to
smart.
where are the friends, where are the
Oh.
people you play with, and then
Twitch
equally
is Amazon,
important is
and
where have you built
Because
out
that's the
Google
largest
has
where's
YouTube.
streaming
where have you
thing
invested
right now,
in
I
that lever?
believe.
I think those two things probably
Twitch,
Other
yeah.
the
than,
biggest
I
influences
mean,
on where people choose to play and what
I'm gonna
devices are
just be
And they
real.
playing.
expanded
Other than
now.
When we think
porn,
about
it's games,
on the other
guys.
side, the developer
You
side,
know, it's like
just
the
any
largest
game
industry,
developer
and
wants their
Twitch is
game to
it.
find the
You
biggest
know, it's bigger
audience
than most
possible. It's just
cable
the nature of
networks.
building a game. You want people to
Oh yeah.
enjoy and participate in what you've made.
And that's a
I
great
think
point
we're
you brought
in
up,
a unique
right?
position
Like
to deliver on that just because
you
we
talk about
And then
are a
they mix
platform,
it.
we build
They be
hardware,
bleeding
we've
it
got
over
a
with the
first-party
sexy
games group, and
vixens
then
and the
we've got a
Comic-Con
system that
girls
ties that
showing off their
together,
boobs while they
brings together
play,
your
and they know what they're
friends,
doing.
your progression,
Oh yeah, yeah,
achievements,
yeah.
all
Of
that.
course,
I
because
think
they got to.
that's really
It's
what
making
is
money, man.
contributing to the
OnlyFans
momentum behind some of these
was
things.
not
Yeah,
supposed to
absolutely.
be
And
all
we
the,
Right.
all
It
this
was literally
porn
supposed to be
on
a
there.
fan thing. Like just like, oh, you like beer? This is me drinking beer.
From a
Like that's
place
it.
where
Not
it used to
supposed to
be
be.
that someone built
But
and
you
launched
know
the
how they
games
turn
with their
everything into
They
hardware.
try
porn,
to
man.
stop that,
The
and it went
things we
bad
do with
quick.
our hardware
Yeah,
and with our
yeah.
platform are all in service of making those games bigger. And we think about that across all of the investments we make, the consoles we build, the investments we do with things like crossplay,
They made sure they had a
cross-progression,
diverse
the things
cast.
that
They
we're
didn't
doing
want
with
nothing
cloud.
but
How do we actually give more options to game
bald
creators so
men.
we can have the greatest success? I think one of the fun recent examples about this is actually Pal World. Power World was able to launch. They were a game preview.
They like
Hey,
that Power
speaking
World.
true.
I gotta play that.
Simultaneously
Have you
launched
played it
on
yet,
Steam.
or any?
I haven't played it, but I mean, you're kind of looking at a like art skin with. From what I hear, it's not bad at all.
And that's all because we
but
give
if you're
creators
expecting
options
more,
on how they can
you ain't
launch
gonna
their
get it.
games. We've got subscription, we've got retail, we've got free to play, we've got game preview.
And I think it's still only in the alpha too, so you don't even have the complete game yet, and it's already a hit.
We step back and
I want to test it just to test it on the TV, because it's one of the games that you can just play over the Game Pass Ultimate streaming. So I want to test it on the TV.
We have
but I just haven't had a chance yet. I wanted my kids to test it. Shout out to James, but I don't think he's gotten around to to testing it yet. So I might just have to just suck it up and test it on the
so we're
TV.
talking about the role that hardware plays for creators, for the
here we go.
games and those communities. What about the role that hardware plays for us as a business for Xbox?
When we look at our hardware, it really is, and Phil said this earlier, it's where you get like the most flagship seminal experience of Xbox. And it also represents a developer target. Our developers can build the specs of our hardware, and we invest to make sure they know when they do that the games are going to run great on our hardware, but they're also going to be.
My lady went with the relaxed perm today
because of all the other investments we make. So we're giving them an easy way to access as many players as possible. And we actually have more creators right now building for
she got
Xbox
on a jacket she would never wear in her dreams.
Thousands of them by nature of those investments. And we got more to come.
That business blazer jacket.
We're going to share this holiday, and we're also invested in the next generation roadmap. And what we're really focused on there is delivering the largest technical leap you will have ever seen in a hardware generation, which makes it better for players and better for creators.
I heard Sony's trying to destroy him on that.
And then when we're talking about hardware too, there's these other considerations that are really important.
I gotta read, read between the lines on what she just said, because
when you talk about libraries,
I think she's being serious about the leap. I mean, you're looking at these new chipsets coming out, and we're looking at stuff that we haven't seen in forever. Example, quick segue, AI. The people who are famous for the pictures, ChatGPT, they just showed off. It was on the news, like the main news. Text to video. They have text to video now. It's not for commercial use yet, but it will be. It's insane, man. Text to video, chat, GPT quality crap.
And what you're describing, right, is 100% spot on. I know you show me a lot of stuff too, and we share with each other some of the stuff that's generated in the AI. And what happens is, so that's why I think what she was saying there, so that's why I just paused it, because the last couple of minutes it looks like they're going to talk about game libraries and preservation, which is one of the concerns of that physical versus digital thing. So I think that's what they're going to address in the last couple of minutes. But to address what they're talking about from a hardware perspective, and what you described, Mensa, is spot on, right? And the best way that they can do that, because I do think the next hardware is going to end up being the last one for hardware in terms of consoles from a perspective,
right?
It's going to be hooking into the cloud, right?
Yes.
And what's that called is cloud computing, grid processing, whatever you want to call it, where the chips and whatever's in the console is making the calls out to the cloud to have that processing done there, where that processing is limitless, right? There's no limit to it. They can upgrade on the fly. They can deliver it to you. The limitation will be to your display, right? And you already got AKay TVs out there, right? And what the limitation will be is, so people will be crying about two things: their display, and the second thing is their internet speeds, which I'm complaining about now because I can't get fiber yet in my damn community. I might just sell the house and move to a bigger house, and just because we can't get fiber here, because
I just downloaded a 100 gig game in like 7 minutes.
Don't make me jealous, man.
Nice.
I cannot deal with I have
optics,
decent cable. I have decent cable speeds.
Yeah.
But I need fiber, right? And my buddy, I know you got great fiber. My buddy has 2 terabytes up and download, and I'm like, what fiber? And I'm like, what?
That's insane.
To have that for your up, and mine, I'm limited to 960 megabits down, so not quite a gigabit, and 40 megabits up. That's unheard of. My phone on 5G UC is faster upload than my damn home internet. And
remember when
it's
it was
a struggle.
like 1800 kilobaud internet speed, whatever, like it was like
2400 baud modems,
you know, modem
56k, which never was the max speed you can actually get. Which is crazy. So I think that she was being a little bit disingenuous. I think it's going to be a major leap. It's going to tie into the cloud.
Industry, there's conversations about streaming.
Now here they're talking about
impacting how I own my
yes,
content.
This is basically the physical digital.
What can we say about our stance around game preservation?
Yeah, you know, one of the highlights for me of being in this position was getting to stand on stage when we announced the back compat coming to Xbox One. Like,
he failed in that.
I can read it. Slow reader.
They got destroyed.
Just feeling the energy in the auditorium as we were saying that and online. You know, one of the cues I think us as being part of Microsoft take is looking at Windows and how Windows over decades has maintained software.
Which remember, a version of Windows is what runs on the Microsoft Series X and S,
some of the games that
and even the Xbox One
from decades ago,
right?
And it will still run. And we try to bring that same view to consoles. It's harder in console because the line between what the hardware is and what the game is,
the UI was ugly.
It's tighter, which makes compatibility. You end up doing these generational compatibilities that we've built. But I will say compatibility, the ability to not only play the games, but my saves are still there with our cloud save systems to try to keep the services.
He's sidestepping the issue right now.
It's at our foundation, and when we
so
look
let's
at
see if even
it's the story building crap. It aggravates me. It's like, tell me the answer.
Respect, which is the word I use. Respect.
Yeah, right.
Investments that people have made in Xbox going forward.
And then he's going to reference the Xbox One fiasco. They failed on it. That's why the PlayStation won during that era.
Also means you have the ability to play.
You heard one thing he said. One thing he said there, Manson. This is what me and you have talked about.
Yeah.
He said entitlements. The entitlements that you get, which is another word for like licenses.
He's a dog whistling.
Right? Yeah. It's like, dude, the entitlements you get, and again, which means that's what you get because you're not buying a game, you're buying an experience or whatever like that, a license, an entitlement that they can pull. Right? It's like people think licenses is a privilege, right? They can pull your driver's license or whatever like that. It's not a right. You're not supposed to hire. If you do something wrong or if they want to abandon it, the government they can, right?
Cars are luxuries.
Yeah, this is where people get mistaken. I paid my hard-earned money, and it's like, did you get the experience? Did you get what you got out of it? Because you can't. You know, me and you have joked about this in the past, right? In terms of YouTube with their issue with views, where sometimes it's like they'll take away views because they do an audit because it's not a monetized view or whatever. And it's like me and you joke that which has been seen cannot be unseen, right?
Correct.
So you can't get a refund if you're unhappy with the movie you saw sucked. Madam Web, I heard, right? I
heard about this.
A lot of people, and we can talk about Marvel in a minute too. But let's just see if he addresses it or just skips it. He's only got a minute left.
Yeah.
Can we go back to what?
Yeah, he didn't even address it. You saw that?
We've pretty much covered all. He
didn't address it. He just said he just harped on entitlements.
Play on Xbox.
So he didn't say like you're gonna still own it, right? You're not gonna own it. Your entitlement, right? That means your privilege of being able to play it maybe for 10 years, but you're not gonna own it, which is difficult. You know, GG Retrobox sends you video games from your childhood and everything like that. Our kids right now, their childhood, they may not have. There's no physical game versions unless they go limited run games and pay a premium maybe.
Backwards compatibility. Being able to play your games in your library anywhere you want because of the investments that we make in cloud gaming. And so you're playing somewhere where you're investing and you know you get to take the games forward with you and across all of the screens where you are. And I think most importantly,
I love it.
Xbox is a place
they're pushing mobile crap.
You're investing
she just said what we talked about. And guys, we didn't watch this beforehand. Where it's the screen. It's where whatever screen that you watch on. It's like they don't care if you got a Zenith. I know they're not around anymore, but we're retro gamers here. They don't care if you got a Zenith, a Sony, a Samsung TV,
a
right?
Zoom.
A Vizio. The content is coming to your TV, right? The content is coming to your TV. So what they're saying, screens, that means your mobile, that means your Switch, that means your PlayStation hooked up to your TV, that means your TV direct, like my Samsung downstairs, that the wife forbid any console from being connected to. But guess what, babe?
Smart
Cloud
TVs.
gaming, yeah, it allows us to connect right to the computer.
See, she says, yeah. Just kidding.
I think she overhears me from downstairs, and she's like, "I'm gonna get him when he's done."
All of the time.
Yep.
Yeah,
and it looks like that's how they're wrapping it up.
So, and we feel that as part of.
So, do we blabber over the 4 games they bring in?
They never mention them. This is a great example, guys, and this is a great use case.
It at the beginning, though, right? That they were going to announce it,
and he never mentioned the names. We'll see. Well, I'll do some Google searches. He never mentioned the names. Yeah.
Games are going to continue.
So it had to be 4 out of the ones. The 2
2024
slides. Yeah, never mentioned the 4 games.
We've got more than 10 major releases coming up. Great stuff. Hellblade 2. We've got Diablo expansion. We've got Avowed, Ara, the Indiana Jones game, and there's more in development, which I think we're going to be able to share more about at our June showcase coming up pretty soon.
Well, I guess I should get
pretty soon. June is 4 months away, man.
They said a lot of nothing. Am I wrong? I mean,
no,
all I heard was this is all going to be about.
Thank you.
What I heard was we're going to give you maybe 1 or 2 last hurrahs for, this is my interpretation of hardware, and then we're going to dive into the future of, you got a screen in your hand and we're going to be able to deliver you the same console stuff. But I wouldn't even necessarily say I'm a purist. I just don't trust the fact that I have to have the internet to run something. So they're going to have to figure out the Nintendo strategy where they have a mobile handheld with the hardware to still put out even games that aren't up to their quality. You know, like Nintendo does it. You know, I would play a Zelda any day. I'm sure any kid will play a Zelda any day because it's about the developer and the heart they put into it, and it's still fun. I don't need it, you know, Unreal Engine 5 and all this other stuff, which will be nice. Don't get me wrong. I'm not, but I think they're still gonna have to figure out that niche that people are gonna still want stuff holistically in their house. Oh, like example, Nintendo. There's a Wii for China, and it's cheap as dirt. And I mean, when I say cheap, we're talking like it's 1990s type games, were like IRK level games, because it can only pass their strict government restrictions. You know, so it might be Mario, but it ain't Mario like Mario kind of stuff. But I think that's super cool how Nintendo still was bringing the gaming experience even to a nation like that. And I think they're gonna have to figure this out because the economy ain't great for everybody, you know. And I guess maybe this is where all the Android consoles are gonna be reign king, right?
I'm gonna push some of the one or two of the stuff to the next episode or whatever like that. And I know it's a 3-day weekend, but real quick, and not to have it be a 15-minute thing. The content I had AKay started today was gonna be content creators, aka drama queens, and I'm thinking about that right now. And this show was supposed to be last week, so it had to be something. And I usually put the show. The topics of the show a few days or even a week ahead of time, to especially to give my son some time to make the thumbnails. Right, shout out to James for making the thumbnails and getting better and better each week. Right, and shout out to El Rafias who did the first 250 probably thumbnails for us. Nice. But you know what I'm saying. You know, gotta build up the next generation, and we're always about entrepreneurialism and supporting people. So he's dabbling in graphics and stuff like that. But so I'm thinking back. So this has to be something from 2.5 weeks ago. And I think it was, and we were discussing this too, Mensa, where some channels will sit there and say they're not drama channels, but they review the drama. You know what I'm trying to say? They review and they talk about and they commentate on the drama, but they're not drama channels, and that's fine. But then some of them will sit there and say, "Oh, I don't," and it's like, dude, you got content from 3 years ago ripping into YouTubers. You've been caught admitting that you do it for the views. You keep saying it's only for YouTube. It's only YouTube, right? And it's just like, come on, man.
It ends up being hypocrisy, man. Because if you know, I'll just name drop myself. If I do something where I feel, you know, it hits my heart, and I talk about it, which I don't believe is drama. It may not be a fair. It may be a not such a positive direction yet you wanted to go to, but that doesn't necessarily make it drama. Like,
that's a hot take. That to me is a hot take.
But then they go, "Oh, it's just drama," and I think what it is a buzzword to attack other content creators. But then yet it's the whole thing. Well, you could talk about it, but I can't. All because you say that you didn't talk about it or you didn't name drop. Like, I think you're worse for not name dropping, because that makes things speculative. People may think you're talking about someone else that you're not talking about, or you're just taking digs and you're not brave enough to speak on it. Having no integrity doesn't make you less drama. You know, that's my viewpoint.
Yeah, so people will say, "Oh, but we kick nothing but the truth," and it's like, dude, if you're kicking the truth is the truth, right? It's facts,
right? It's facts.
Once you put your opinion, you know what I'm saying, it's not, and it's a take. It can be a take, but if all you're doing is offering your opinion on drama, you know, right. If you're in the middle of it, then you are. And again, it's negative, dude.
If you interject yourself, you're part of it now.
Yeah, it's nothing. It's like, you know, back in the day, there used to be those. Now, this is when you had physical media. You had those beef DVDs, like before YouTube and before TikTok and Instagram lives. People would be recorded on a beef DVD, and those DVDs would go out in the streets, and people would, "Oh, this rapper's got beef with this rapper." And that rapper's got beef. Yeah, so they're doing a battle rap, they're doing this. So that's not like what I'm used to it. And it's like, that doesn't mean like if you got beef, you got drama, whatever you want to call it. But like you said, you know, Mensa, and there's some people that they want to be in it, right? They interject, they love it, they seek out drama, and again, generate it. And it's just like, dude, that's cool, because there's content out there, and there's no such thing as bad press. There's no such thing. Things that are controversial will still get you views. And a lot of these guys, they want to get their views based off of that. And it's all good. But don't get mad when somebody calls you that or this, that, then some, or say, you know, to me, it just ends up being where it's like, bro, you are what you are. Like, to quote Jay-Z, you are what you are when you got here. You are what you are. Right? If somebody calls you that and you don't like the label, like some people that get labeled as shills, right? So that's opposite of, let's say, drama. You get labeled as a shill. You're a shill. Like, dude, embrace it. Like, if you're the definition of being a shill, like, you're sitting there, you're taking remuneration of some form to sit there and advocate on the behalf of a product, right? And even when it sucks, you can do that. That's cool, dude. You know how many people do that day to day in jobs? I've worked at a lot of companies where I'm like, yo, it's the best thing since sliced bread while I'm working for the company and they paying the bill so I can put food on the table, right? Exactly. But I don't do it no more. I'll sit there. It's tough to sit there and be unbiased. You know what I'm trying to say? When you are taking anything, and again, to throw this out there, and it's not offensive, Mensa, I know I was in the chat during that time frame too. Yeah. We're not being offended where people need to do, we're not trying to be offensive where people need to do disclosures. It's FTC rules for a reason, right? You got to disclose it. I've done stuff outside of gaming. I've done stuff, and at the top of the hour, I reveal every time this show is sponsored by GG Retrobox, everything like that. We own GG Retrobox, right? So, you know, as one of our businesses, so we have that. I disclose it all the time. I don't have to tell you. One person was right on that stream. We don't have to tell you how much money we get from it. We just have to, or how much money we make from it. We don't have to tell you that. By the way, a lot of businesses operate at a loss for like the first 3 to 5 years, Amazon included, right? So Amazon, I think, operated at a loss for 8 to 10. But anyway, so, you know, but you have to disclose it because people want to make sure that influencers aren't pushing agendas to get people to buy products. And I think a lot of people out there they don't understand it. They try to make jokes about it. And it's like, just because you're making a joke about it does not mean and make it go away or mean that it's not a rule or a law. It's there.
Yeah.
It's the FTC website. Just follow it and you're good.
Look at like when I do the off-the-cuff multi-streams, you know, I don't think there's been a single episode, if I ever multi-stream to your channel or whatever, that I didn't have that thing flagged, you know, this is sponsored by, you know, that's because you're giving me a bigger platform than what I normally have. So here's the full disclosure, guys, you know what I mean? And I'm not getting paid for it. You're not getting paid for it, but still the disclosure's there. And that's crazy that I'm disclosing more of something that I probably didn't even need to, and these guys won't.
Or on the side of caution, man. That's what I tell people all the time.
It's just do it. Yeah. It's not a big deal.
It's better to be safe than sorry, right? It's better to I always tell people, like, it's better to have and not need than need and not have.
Right.
You know what I'm trying to say? So from my perspective, I agree 100% with you. Disclose. What do you got to lose from it?
Nothing.
If you're hiding it, then there's the reason you're hiding. Yeah, because you don't want somebody that super chats you to not that. Then you're being disingenuous. Then you're being the very reason that the FTC is putting this up for, because you're shilling. You're saying you're giving people FOMO. Years ago, some of these guys that say I'm not a shill, it's like, dude, you are. You gave people FOMO to buy Marvel vs. Capcom 2 cabinets.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Big blue cabinets, right? You gave people that kind of FOMO. And I'm speaking about two known in the industry, but it's even outside of this industry, bro. Like, and I just take it with a grain of salt. But I think that's what the Drama Queen was about. The Drama Queen comment was about. And I'm not singling. Listen, guys, trust me, I'm not scared of any of you guys. I'm more easily reached out to than anybody out there, because we attend events, we sponsor events, people can look us up. So I'm not scared of people out there to not name names. It's just that it's a bunch of you that fit into that bucket, right? So I'm not going to sit there and name drop, 10 people when it's 10 of you guys that fit in that bucket, and each one of you guys think, well, I only do videos for them, or I only did video for them once. Do I have to disclose this? And I did this and I did that. Whatever excuses, like, dude, just disclose it. It doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter. Disclose it just to be on the safe side. Like Mensa said and described.
Check that Google out, where she got fined heavily by the FTC for not having her full disclosures. Now, see, what ends up happening is reality. A lot of these guys are so small that they probably will never be touched or whatever. But just because you believe there's no accountability doesn't mean ethically others can't hold you accountable on an ethical level, because what you're doing is not just ethical, it is against the rules. And if they fine you, it may be, it's against the statutes, against the laws, like there's a reason that the Federal Trade Commission wants influencers to disclose if they have a personal relationship with a business, either from it you getting a t-shirt, you getting knowing somebody to the point where you got a discount. Now that doesn't mean if you go work for them and you get this stuff, you can't get none of it. We're talking about when it comes on to the internet. And like me, I'm shilling for the Bass Box. But how many times have we? I mean, everyone knows now. I work for the company. I am fully alongside Bill. He reaches out to me, and I help him with his business. So if I get a discount on the Bass Box, or say the Bass Box is the greatest unit ever, there's a reason, because it benefits me. To say it's good, period. Now, whether you guys have enough respect for me that I'm not gonna lie to you, that's about my actions, and that comes with the territory. Okay, you think I'm lying? Well, guess what? The product's gonna speak for itself, so you'll find out, right? But I believe enough people know me by now that I'm not gonna shill for crap.
And guys, like it's not like this is going to, like, there's people in a sweatshop working there, you know what I'm trying to say? So it's like, try to support try to support, right? Not hate without any kind of evidence or proof or whatever like that. Like, try to support independent developers, right? We just reviewed Microsoft and what Microsoft's doing, and they're a $3 trillion company, right? And everything like that. And then, but we pick on people that are not only minority or whatever, but minority in a sense of not saying somebody's color, but saying independent developers, right? That are trying to do that, trying to do preservation, trying to do things to support other independent developers. And we want to sit there and hate on them. And we want to align with these bigger corporations that they will sit there. They've admitted it in their business speak that they'll remove the license at any time.
Yeah.
Like what? And I know you've beaten this to death, and I mean that as a term of endearment in terms of the channel, in terms of Arcade and what the fuck happened there. Pardon my language. Right. So it's like, guys, let's try to support people. And I talked about this a couple of weeks ago. I have and now it's been 3 years. I've supported Kickstarters and stuff like that. So I have a Kickstarter that I supported that it looks like we're not getting the stuff. And my daughter found our Raspberry Pi Compute Module 4 that we have brand new waiting for that thing. And again, that's because we support independent artists. We support independent developers. We support that scene because that's that next generation, man. And I really think that you look at music right now, Bad Bunny is totally independent and one of the biggest artists out there right now. And he's totally still independent, not tied to a main studio. So let's have that
rare.
Let's have that happen in video games. Let's support a team like the Bash team, right? Bash Gaming Studios. And let's support somebody like that and what they're doing. So maybe they're that next up and coming, right? More than likely they'll get acquired, right? Activision, Bethesda. But still,
one of the developers that was trying to get on the iArcade, right? Heavy Metal Titans developer. From what I recall, they never got to release their game for many reasons. One exclusively being the fact that the iArcade went bankrupt. But look at the bankruptcy. They didn't pay a single penny to the developer. Yet, what the CEO for Bash is offering is either an upfront payment or the fact that if you put it on the system, everything you get is yours. How you write up the contract to make sure that it stays legit, maybe do it like a monthly, so then like there's so many caveats. But this guy went on for Lord knows how long, not paying a single penny back to to the company or to the developers. But yet this person, he's been in the industry for years, always, with the MSVX, Unico.
Support small businesses, man. Support independent artists, independent studios. They build some of the coolest shit that ends up. A lot of this stuff gets acquired by these bigger companies, right? But you have to spur that.
Minecraft.
Yeah, Minecraft, which is what was it, Mojang, or whatever. Siri itself. Oh, I said that, and probably everything's gonna go in my house. But Siri itself was an acquisition, right? So again, man, just look at it from that standpoint. We do a lot of stuff. You guys know JLS Gaming. We support a lot of shows, a lot of independent at Midwest Gaming Classic. What we support out there, and we're the main sponsor every year of the Future Game Classic stage, which is a lot of independent developers creating homebrew or whatever like that for like the Nintendo system, the original Nintendo system. And we've had Dungeons and Nights, the creator of Dungeons and Nights here with a nice gold cart like the Zelda thing, the whole nine. That stuff is amazing, man. Support these guys to be able to create this stuff and continue to bring you great games and stuff like that. Because if not, you're going to be just at the mercy of these $3 trillion companies. They got enough money to make people disappear, bro, and make things go away, right?
Right.
Support these guys that can, and you're not, creativity. So again, to quote back in the early 90s, again, can't we all just get along? Like, come on, let's play games, man. All this drama ends up being unnecessary. I stay out of it because it's like, Dude, I've been there, done that. I was a battle rapper, young, up and coming. I was a battle rapper. And the one thing that we did do is we never took it personal, man. So it's like sports almost, right? Where it's like after the battle, after this, you hug it out, right? Because you're just going in there to do that. So I wish that a lot of these people too that have drama with each other and everything like that, just hug it out afterwards, man. Just see each other at a show. Don't make it too personal, because again, some people can't see you. So these guys that think they can hide behind a screen and it's not too hard for somebody to reach out and touch somebody, it's crazy. And people can do that. With that said, we've been an hour and 15 minutes. I know you broke the record. I know you did this on purpose, Mensa. I was scared. We go like 30 minutes because the video was only 22. Here we are an hour and 15.
He's like, I only want to go like 40 minutes. I'm like, you brought the wrong person for that.
and I'm getting congested and everything like that. Thank you so much to my special guest, Mensa, for being on the show. Follow the Off the Cuffs guys. The thing with the Off the Cuff guys is they literally not only go off the cuff, they are consistently inconsistent, right? They don't have a schedule. They go live, so you gotta subscribe, right? You gotta subscribe. You gotta turn on notification bells. Even myself, man. I'm like, man, I didn't even know you was going live. I'm at the desk over here. I'm on the knife. I get the notification. I went live. I gotta join. I'm watching them the other day where they had Line on from the car. And I don't mean like on my, which probably I should have did. Shout out to the Off the Cuff crew. Shout out to King Creole and Prince Malcolm, right? I should have watched it on the phone, but I was watching it on the screen in the Tesla as I'm parked, waiting for my son's therapy to be done. Shout out to the JLS Gaming family, Willow, Brizzo, Florida Life with Livy, James LaSalle, the beautiful Liliana LaSalle, myself. I think I mentioned our dog. Episode 259 will pop up at some point this week or next week. As always, we love you guys. Peace. Oh, we got the wife saying, what the hell? Oh, I was like, what does FAFO stand for? Until I figured it out. I'm not going to say what that says, but see you guys. I'm looking for my outro music. All right, peace.